Hello, Jamie here from the 1912 Exiles podcast, and I'm delighted to have Jordan from Under the Abbey Stand podcast, our Cambridge United and fellow Amber Army counterparts. How you doing, Jordan?
Thanks for having me on, Jamie. Really happy to be here. Yeah, doing pretty good actually. It's a rare good season to be a Cambridge fan. So after sort of 3 or 4 tough ones in League One, where we didn't win very much, it's been enjoyable the last few months.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, obviously, looking at the table, you're in a good nick of form. But I mean, let's take a step back and, like you say, talk about the season as a whole. Where are we at the moment? You're in the top. You're second, aren't you? Which is good
Slipped down
stuff.
to
Is that
third. Slipped down
down
to
to
third
third?
because Swindon got a late winner away to Barnet on Tuesday night, so
They
they
sure
creaked
did,
above
yeah.
us. But
But even even
pretty tight in that
yeah, I
top
was going to
five.
say, yeah, it's very tight. You're only four off Bromley at the top. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, you sounded pretty chipper, to be honest. I mean, does this sort of go past your expectations that you had in August?
Oh, absolutely. Massively, massively so. I think there was a small section of United fans that when we got relegated last year expected to be in the playoff picture or pushing for sort of being in the top 7 or 8. But not many of us. So there was one on our podcast that was making that point, and we all mocked him and belittled him at the time. The vast majority of United fans were expecting to probably just consolidate. I think the feeling was there was still quite a bit of the team that were in the squad for the season or two before, and that Neil Harris would need more than just the summer window to, uh, you know, rotate and get the squad right. So, I think with that in mind, plus also just the history and the stats compared to teams that have come down from League One and how they've managed to get on the following season, it painted a pretty bleak picture. I think only one team in the last few years have bounced straight back up. Have a look in the conference, and you can see a number of examples of people that have done the opposite and gone straight through. So I think, yeah, looking at where the squad was and looking at just how League Two is and what teams have experienced before, I think most of us were expecting to have sort of a, I don't know, kind of a mid-table-ish kind of season. I guess not really knowing the quality of the league also is another factor as well. So to be second, sorry, not second, to be third, but
Sorry, that was
previously
my bad.
previously second, and to be on what we won 16 games unbeaten recently. We won 6 in a row recently. I think we're on 10 wins in the last 12 games. This run of form has been absolutely spectacular. And what's interesting is we've kind of grown into the season. We weren't in that top 3 or that top 8 for quite a few months, and like quite a few months into the season is what I mean. We weren't there in August and September and October and so forth. So we've really sort of grown into the season, which is an unusual one for us if we were to get promoted, because I'm fortunate enough to see us be promoted 3 times before, and each time we started the season like a house on fire, then started to wobble and then kind of sort of limped across the line. I'm not saying we get promoted this year. I hope we do. But if we do get promoted, it'll be a very different experience to one that we've seen where we've, I don't know, kind of sort of grown into the season and sort of become challenges later on, which is what it's looking like currently.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you say, the run of form, you're kind of hitting just at the right time, aren't you? And despite the draw last night, I mean, the draw, we were recording this on a Wednesday, that draw at home to Colchester. How were your feelings about that? Because yeah, you've mentioned in previous promotion seasons you've sort of started well and then had a bit of a wobble. That wasn't a wobble, was it? That was just a hard end point. How do you feel at full time last night?
I felt pretty relieved at full time, if I'm honest. I would go as far to say that Colchester are probably the best team we've seen come to the Abbey so far this season. I can't understand how going into the game, I think they'd lost 3 in the last 5. Yeah, pressed us really well, lots of pace, really good on the counter. So wouldn't say we were fortunate to get a point, but I do think Colchester could have won the game. Likewise, we had a couple of chances late on, so maybe we could have snatched it. but it was hard fought, and I think it was I think it was a fair result, and it wasn't a blip. We've had a blip recently, which you'll probably be happy to see, came against Harrogate when they were bottom of the league a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, we have hit form at a good time. We've got MK Dons at home in a couple of weeks' time, but either side of that, we've got comfortable-ish games, and then sort of late March, April, we have a really interesting run of games where we play Notts County, Bromley, Swindon, Salford. We play everyone that is in that sort of race for the automatic places. So yeah, hopefully this run of good form kind of is leading us to that really kind of crucial point of the season, and we go into that in like a really strong position to hopefully get the job done.
Absolutely, yeah. It's those games come thick and fast in March and April, don't they? You have given my heart and the hearts of all Newport County fans a lot of hope by reminding us that you lost to bottom of the league Harrogate, because you will be playing bottom of the league Newport on Saturday at Rodney Parade. So I mean, let's look ahead to this game. So to give our listeners a little bit of a glimpse. What is your team looking like at the moment? Have you made any January reinforcements? Where's the danger man? Who should we be like really worried about on Saturday?
Yeah, so I think danger man wise, if I start there, number 14, a gentleman called Ben Knight. He is sort of early 20s. He's from the Cambridgeshire area. Went through Ipswich's youth team setup and joined Man City at quite a young age. I think he joined Man City around 16, 17 years of age. I think they paid quite a substantial fee for him. He appeared in a Community Shield final as a substitute. Looked to be having quite a bright career. Didn't work out to Spain for a period of time last year. Didn't work out. I think he started training with us early in 2025, but didn't actually sign on until the summer. And he's another one that kind of fits that bracket of having grown into the season. The first game of the season was amazing. It was a real standout, and you thought, wow, this is going to be a differential this season. This guy on form is too good for League Two, and he'll be too much for people to handle. He then went off the boil for months on end, was out of the team, sometimes didn't even make the matchday squad. But he's one of those that has taken an opportunity when sort of injuries have happened. Really hit form in December, was great in January, won the EFL Player of the Month for the division in January, and is terrific. So he'll either play sort of in a number 10 role, or he's left-footed, so sometimes he'll drift out wide. Harris sometimes likes to do inverted wingers, so he's one to keep an eye on. He's a danger man. The January window was an interesting one. I don't think I've ever had a January window as a Cambridge fan where everyone's been so relaxed and everyone's been chilled out. We signed a couple of players. Elliot Nevitt came in on loan from Gillingham. He's barely played. I think we've signed a body to sort of have a body and an extra presence on the bench. And we signed a centre-back from Portsmouth as well, which was not necessarily a role that I thought we were going to go into the window needing, but due to an injury, it cropped up. I think we're a little bit surprised that maybe we didn't go for another striker or sort of another attacking forward winger. So if we don't get the job done and we don't get promoted this year, which is very, very possible still, I think a lot of people will look back at January and go, did the recruitment strategy let us down there? Should we maybe have rolled the dice and tried to get another head or two in? We've got a couple of players coming back who should be fit, not for Newport away on Saturday, but should be fit sort of mid to late March. So they will be back for the run-in, which is great. But, does it get away from us between now and them coming back? So yeah, that's how our January was. In terms of approach on Saturday, Neil Harris started the season with a 4-2-3-1 as his preferred formation. He's reverted back to that over the last couple of games, which I think has left a lot of us surprised, because due to injuries, he reverted to a back five and then sort of two behind a solo striker. So kind of a 3-4-2-1. and that's just been working really, really well. You know, I mentioned sort of unbeaten in 14 and all of that, and the majority of those games came with that formation. So it's a little bit peculiar to us to see that change has happened over the last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that he reverts to the back three and wing backs for our game on Saturday.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Perhaps you can come on to that in a little bit. But because I was noticing that you do have the best defense in the league, so I'm guessing you're a pretty tricky side to break down. And we're looking at, again, just purely looking at the goals scored. It's a little bit down on the rivals around you, so that's probably where you were looking for another striker. Now, obviously, Newport are off the back of a 3-1 win up at Salford on Tuesday night, which came a bit out of the blue, but we played a lot better than we have in recent weeks. If we were to continue to getting points on the board, where should we be looking? Where's the actual weak spot at the moment? If there is a weak spot for a team currently sat in third in the league?
I think at the moment, the area that I'm looking at is central midfield. So we've got, on our day when everyone is fit, some really great options in that central midfield positions. We signed Don Ball in the summer from Leyton Orient, who obviously had a terrific season last year in League One. We signed Peli Radek Mpanzu, who went through the conference to the Prem with Luton, and so has been playing in the Prem pretty recently. We signed him. We signed, obviously, your guy Shane McLaughlin, who's been terrific for us this year, but has struggled with injury. And then, whilst people have been out, we've had a youth team player called Glenn Hoddle, who's really seized his opportunity in central midfield. So on our day, we've got an abundance of riches in that central midfield area. The problem at the moment is Hoddle and Ball are both injured and won't feature on Saturday. McLaughlin has been playing a lot of 90 minutes in the last couple of weeks, but has been now injured and I think has been looking a little bit leggy towards the end of games. And Neil Harris has mentioned, would like to manage his minutes. So my slight concern is midfield and the energy levels and things in that area. Elsewhere, in terms of sort of weaknesses and things to target, we really struggled on Tuesday night against a high press and a lot of energy from Colchester. We reverted to just having to hit it long quite a lot of the time, and when you're playing with one up top, that's a really hard job for someone to do on their own. The main striker that we have, a guy called Louis Appere, is decent. He runs and he causes a lot of problems for defenses, but he's not the best in the air or winning a flick on. So when you go long, it doesn't necessarily play to his advantage. So those are a couple of areas that I would say are probably things that I worry about. So
yeah. Wonderful. You terrified me for a second because you said you had a midfielder called Glenn Hoddle, and I thought, holy moly. But George Hoddle, I think it was, isn't it?
George Hoddle, sorry, yes. Yeah.
That's fine. I was like, oh my goodness, he's come out of retirement. Okay. Right. Jordan, just before I leave you to it, how are you feeling ahead of the weekend? Do you have a score prediction or just sort of a general, what's the mood in the camp? Are you expecting to come to Rodney Parade and pick up a win? You can be honest with us.
I think we have to come and get the win on Saturday if we're going to be considered, serious contenders for going up in the top three, not just in the playoffs, but to go up in the top three. We have to be able to go away to teams in the lower parts of the division and pick up wins. Obviously, we've struggled with that this year. We spoke about losing to Harrogate a couple of weekends ago. Elsewhere, we went away to Bristol Rovers and lost. We went away to Shrewsbury and lost. So it's not been something that we've been that great at. I do feel confident and positive given how we've responded to that Harrogate game. We beat Bristol Rovers, we beat Crawley in the immediate two games after that. Both games we scored 3 goals, which is unusual for us. Like you pointed out, we're not big goal scorers. So it feels like we've responded well to that defeat. And yeah, I'm thinking we have to be positive. We have to be confident that we go away to Newport and find a way to win. Interested to see what kind of bounce or what kind of buzz there will be after a really terrific result for you midweek. I think it will be a close game. We're not really ones to sort of blow teams away. I suspect the first half will be quite tight and quite cagey, and maybe we might up it in the second half. We've got a really good, bench that we can call on. So I think it will be close, but I think we'll win by a single goal. So let's go 2-1.
Wonderful. Well, not wonderful. Wonderful for you joining
Would
us.
be for us, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Jordan from Under the Abbey Stand podcast, thank you so much for joining us. And best of luck for the rest of the season, apart from this weekend.
Thank you, mate.